of Karachi Toastmaster Club welcome you all in another exciting meeting of Karachi Toastmaster Club. This is our meeting number 915. And guess what? Today is not an ordinary meeting because today we have defiers of gravity. And believe me, today our big four, for them, you can easily see that this is nothing but a galaxy of champions. So I am quite excited for it. So without further ado, now I would like to hand over the charge to the presiding officer, distinguished Toastmaster Talal bin Hamid. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Satyar. As VP Education, I will be presiding over the proceedings today as Toastmaster Usa is not available. Everyone, first of all, sincere gratitude to our four champions who have agreed to be the big four in our today's meeting, and what's more, all of them agreed within half an hour. So I couldn't be more grateful to Toastmaster Noman, Toastmaster Vania, Toastmaster Farooq, and Toastmaster Jaya, who will be joining us shortly. With that, let us start. First of all, we don't have any first timers here, so I don't think I need to introduce what Toastmasters is, but okay, fine. Let me make an effort. Toastmasters is a worldwide communication and leadership skill development program. It is headquartered in Colorado, USA, and it has more than 350,000 members around the world, more than 17,000 clubs. It has more than 123 districts right now, and Pakistan is one of those districts, although it's in a provisional stage right now, but we will get there soon. So with that, I will now invite some of our guests to introduce themselves before handing over the charge to our Toastmasters. But even before that, I need to get the business section out of the way first. So recapping our last week's meeting. First of all, during the intervening period, there were no decisions taken by the executive committee that require ratification by the club. So there's nothing to report there. Our last meeting was an election meeting, and the election was presided over by Toastmaster Hina Ali, and the next year's XCOM was elected. Also, last week, our Best Speaker Award and Critics' Choice Best Speaker Award both went to Toastmaster Mohammad Asghar, Best Evaluator to Toastmaster Usa Kaval, Best Facilitator, Toastmaster Rabia Zishan, and Best Big Four Award went to myself as Journal Evaluator. So that was the business section. Now I will ask our esteemed guests. I don't know whether to call our champions guests or not. Certainly they're not guests. So they will be certainly introducing themselves, and they certainly need no introduction, but I will ask, first of all, Toastmaster Imran Law, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Would you please introduce yourself and how you learned about that one?
Right. Thank you very much, Taha. Right. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. My name is Imran Law, and I'm from Malaysia, TMI, KL, or more short. To be, the full name is Toastmasters International, Kuala Lumpur. So I was invited by one of my members in my club called Albert Kaur. Not sure if you heard him, but he mentioned about you guys and gave me the link to your meeting today. So I look forward to see today's meeting and have a great time. So with that, I'll pass it over back to Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran. And next we have Toastmaster Novelette from Canada. Would you like to introduce yourself and how you ended up here?
Thank you very much. Good evening and good morning for me, because it's morning here in Canada. And I'm happy to be here. How did I end up here? I have been taking advantage of this online travel with Toastmasters. And I started to travel when we went online last year. And I figured it would be a great opportunity to finish my year and traveling virtually Toastmasters. And what I do is I go to Toastmasters International, I check out different clubs and I see what kind of fits within my time schedule and a club that would seem interesting to visit. And you guys seem very interesting. So I just sent an email to the contact and I got a response, because unfortunately, sometimes I don't get responses from Toastmasters Club for whatever reason. So I was happy to get a response, and I'm here just to visit you guys. And I actually saw that you guys had a joint meeting as well, I believe, with a club here last weekend. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that. So when I saw that, I was like, this is good. I'm in good company with this club to visit. So it's my pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Well, we can only hope and pray that your expectations are fulfilled. So everyone, all KTC members, please put on your best behavior, because we have to provide an unforgettable experience to Toastmasters overnight. And yes, you're right. We had a joint meeting with My Speak Toastmasters Club in Canada just this weekend. So thank you so much. We are honored that you've joined us. We have another guest. We have Tahir Ahmed. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum. I am Tahir Ahmed from the Toastmaster Club, and looking forward to attend this meeting and participate in this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you, if I am correct, you are a very, very active member of Dow's IBHN Toastmasters Club. So it's great to have you here, and great to have you visiting us. So with all that out of the way, let's now move on to the education session. And of course, our Toastmaster of the day today needs no introduction. He is the current president of Islamabad Toastmasters Club, and he'll be feeling really amazing right now, because only yesterday the elections took place, and you have that weird feeling between sadness and euphoria when the leadership is about to be passed on. He is a trainer and quite a renowned speaker within and outside Toastmasters. And Toastmasters fraternity is lucky to have him amongst us. And that's not enough. He also became the district's champion of public speaking this last month. And he is a force to be reckoned with. I can guarantee that every time he speaks, he never fails to inspire. And I'm not just saying that because it is something nice to say, but I actually mean it. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Numan Abdul.
Thank you very much, DTM Talal bin Hamid, for such a kind and generous introduction. It puts a lot of responsibility on my shoulders now to live up to those expectations you have mentioned. Hello and Assalamu alaikum, all the Toastmasters from Pakistan, Karachi and outside listening to me right now. I'll be the Toastmaster of the evening for today's meeting. I welcome you all in this exciting session of Karachi Toastmasters Club with a very exciting theme of defying gravity, defiers of gravity. Whenever I see and I look at the stars, I always wonder that how miraculous this universe is. Let's take an example of our planet Earth. Imagine a ball suspended in the space and rotating around its own axis and revolving around another giant, huge fireball called a sun. And we are all attached to this ball like a magnet. Imagine I'm sitting right now in this chair and there is another person on 180 degrees sitting opposite to me. Isn't this miraculous? And it is all happening because of the miraculous factor known as gravity. But wait a minute, we are not talking about gravity here, right? We are talking about defying gravity. And isn't that funny that being a resident of this planet Earth, we are here sitting together talking about defying one of the major elements of this planet Earth. What are we planning here? Are we led by Elon Musk? I hope not so. But what do we mean by defying gravity? What is gravity here? Gravity is the societal conditioning. It is probably time. It is probably resources or all the other excuses. The ridicule of people or the leg pulling of your peers. Whatever that is, those all factors which pull us down are known as gravity here. But there are few defiers who defy and who are persevere even in the pull of this gravitational forces. So this is what we are talking about here as defying gravity. And it is going against the odds. It is moving against the tides. How many of you are swimmers, by the way? Raise your hands. I can see a few of you. No swimmers. Oh my God. All right. So I have very few companions. I love swimming, by the way. So it is very easy, to go and swim wherever the water is flowing because you only have to float. You don't have to make any effort. But when you have to swim opposite of the flow of water, you have to put a lot of effort. And after a few minutes, you want to give up because it takes a lot of energy to go against the tides. So it takes that kind of perseverance. It takes that kind of energy when you defy gravity. And I was going through all these amazing stories of, defiers, but then I realized that probably at some point of our lives, we all have been defiers. And I thought to myself, why not listen to the stories of defiers that are within us in this Karachi Toastmasters Club? So we'll hear the stories of some defiers who are with us in this meeting. We'll get to introduced with all those amazing defiers. But for today's meeting, for all the guests, I hope that most of the guests who have joined us are Toastmasters, so they know how the normal meeting goes. But for the guests who don't know, I'll explain that a normal Toastmasters meeting consists of 3 important segments. Number 1 is prepared speech segment. In prepared speech segments, the Toastmasters come and they deliver their speech projects from different pathways that contains different objectives. After the prepared speech segment, we have the second segment known as table topping segment. This is one of the exciting segments of Toastmasters where we push people to speak impromptu. They speak on their feet, they get the topic, and they have to speak and craft a well-structured speak on the topic. The third and the most illuminating session, I would say, is of evaluation. In evaluation, every Toastmasters who get to speak in the session is being evaluated by seasoned Toastmasters. So this is how a normal Toastmaster meeting works. And to assist me in the meeting, we have different role players, and I will one by one ask those role players to introduce themselves. So I will start off with grammarian. Mr. Grammarian, if you could please introduce yourself to all the Toastmasters. Do we have?
Thank you,
Yeah, please.
Thank
Over
you,
to you.
Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Numan. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmasters from around the world. In grammarian role, also known as language evaluator, I will listen and record notable use of language and grammar. The purpose is to encourage and commend good use of language as well as recommend improvement if any required. When prompted by the Toastmaster of the day, I will give the grammarian's report. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shamam, for explaining your role. Now we'll move on to the timer for today's meeting. And Mr. Timer, I would request you to please explain your role. DTM Talha, if, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. So every segment in the meeting, specifically the prepared speeches, the table topics, and the evaluations are timed. And it will be my job to time all the speeches and show indicators. I will be showing green, yellow, and red as timer. So for example, if a speech is 5 to 7 minutes, I'll be showing green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. Similarly, for table topics, it's green at 1 minute, yellow at 1:30, and red at 2 minutes. And for evaluations, it is 2, 2.5, and 3. And every time you see red, it means that you are 30 minutes away from 30 seconds away from disqualification. So you have 30 seconds to wind up whatever you're doing. If you don't, a lightning bolt will strike and you will drop dead right on the spot. No, actually no. But you will just be disqualified from being voted upon in your respective category. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmasters Talab bin Hamid, for explaining your role. Now, can we have our counter so that he or she can explain the role? Our counter for today's meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, the champion. Looking forward for it's an honor actually for you to host and we to be the guest of yours. Thank you very much, first of all. Friends, guest, this is Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. I'm the R counter for today. And my role as an R counter is to note down the inappropriate words used by the speaker, such as ums, and most of the time when we use a filler words called well, and, because. So I will be noting out those filler words used by the speaker, and at the end of the when the evaluator will be asking me to give my report, I'll share my report accordingly. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif, for explaining your role. Now we'll have vote counter to please explain your role. Toastmaster Saad as vote counter.
Yeah, actually Toastmaster Saad will be joining in a few minutes, so he requested me to explain the role. So during 4 times in the meeting, in fact 5, you will be asked to vote. You will be asked to vote for the best speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator, best big 4, and the best facilitator. And the voting will be done through Zoom poll. And the vote counter themselves cannot cast a vote. They can only break the tie if there is a tie. In case the Zoom poll does not work for some reason, a Google Sheet will be floated. And even if that fails, the voting will be done through the private message in Zoom chat. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, TTM Tala, for taking the charge and explaining the role. We have some other facilitators with us too. As word master, we have Toastmaster Shamam with us. As listener, we have Toastmaster Ali Asher with us. And as joke master, which is a surprise for me, let's see what the joke master does in a meeting, is Toastmaster Imran Rana for today's meeting. So now we'll move on to our first segment, that is going to be the prepared speech segment. And the first speaker, yeah.
Sorry, Toastmaster Noman. The joke master will tell the joke immediately after the introductions are made. So he's supposed to tell the joke right now to kick things off on a funny note. Yeah, yeah.
All right, that's interesting. So do we have a joke master with us?
Yeah.
Imran Rana. Yes, Toastmaster Imran Rana, go on. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Okay, fellow Toastmaster, I'm sure I'm audible. That's great. Okay, this joke is specially for all the prepared speakers. Let me defy all your butterflies away and make you feel lighter. After the bride's first dinner, she asked her husband, "Now, dear, what will I get if I cook a dinner like that for you every day?" "My life insurance," said the husband. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran Rana, for chilling everybody up, and especially the prepared speakers who are definitely under pressure now. So moving on to our first speaker, he is distinguished Toastmaster. He's one of my favorite Toastmaster among all the fraternity of Toastmasters in District 122 TC. Very eloquent and a very decent personality. He is a graduate engineer. He is also an entrepreneur and running his own business. He is a defier. He defied gravity by being elected as district director by Toastmaster International directly as the first district director of District 122 TC. During his tenure as district director, Pakistan has become a distinguished district. So he definitely had defied gravity. So before calling him on the stage, I would like his evaluator, who is Toastmaster Kareem Maghani, to please share the objectives of his speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Kareem.
So today I'll be evaluating distinguished Toastmaster Samir Hamid Dodi. It will be an honor because as a senior Toastmaster, it's an honor to evaluate. So DTM Samir's project title is Presentation Mastery 3 using presentation software. His speech title is The Demon in You. And I was, just give me a second. Okay. The purpose of this speech is that the project is for the member to introduce or review basic presentation software strategies for creating and using slides to support or enhance a speech, also to member to demonstrate his or her understanding of how to use presentation software. So over to you, DTM Samir Hamid Dodi. Best of luck for your speech, The Demon in You.
Thank you very much. First of all, am I audible and visible? Excellent. All right. Let me start the screen share. And okay. Can you see the screen properly? Yes?
It is appearing and something is on the way. Let's see what it is. Yeah. Oh.
All right. All right. 1 second. Let me just see if it's going to go up and down, or will it be an issue? As technology usually is. Okay, it is going up and down, and I will try to go back. All right. Fantastic. My time starts now. Timer. Are you a good person? Are you a moral person? Would you torture somebody just because somebody in authority told you you have to torture that person? Would you kill somebody just because their peers are killing those people? Most people would say, that's crazy. I'm a good human. I would never, ever do such a terrible thing. But let us see, do you have the Lucifer in you? If you remember, these were the photos that were taken in the Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq when people were being tortured by soldiers in different ways. Now, of course, many of the politicians said that these are the case of a few bad apples, that these are terrible people. But many others, including psychologists, this very interesting gentleman called Philip Zimbardo, said that this situation makes ordinary people act in an evil manner. He said that any of us are capable of doing evil. It just depends on the situation. And let us see if that is true. I do not know how many of you have heard of the Milgram Experiment. This was done in the 60s, and it wanted to show that would a person in authority make people do things that are against their personal conscience? This advertisement appeared, and in those days, $4 is equal to about $40 now. And they said, well, we need to have people for study of memory. So people applied. And then this was the setup. The setup was that the student and the experimenter were both colluding. They were into what they had to do, and the experiment was on the teacher. It was supposed to be a memory experiment, and what happened is that they showed the teacher, the dupe, that, okay, here's the student is being strapped down into a chair, his hands are puffed, and there are electrodes attached to his body. Every time he gives the wrong answer, you're going to press this button, and the button will keep on going up and up and up. Initially, it's going to be 15 volts of electricity, and then it's going to go higher and higher and higher. And the thing was that they would say, okay, well, will this electric shock make that person learn or not? But what this teacher didn't know is that it's all a setup, and the student wasn't receiving shocks, but he was pretending to. So the experiment started 15 volts, 30 volts, higher and higher, and the highest setting was 450 volts, which is pretty much lethal. After a while, the student said, ah, that's hurting. And then he said, oh my God, I'm hurting. Please don't. I'm really in pain. And eventually, at the highest level, there was total silence, like the man might have died. Of course, that didn't happen. But you see, the thing was, they wanted to see would the teacher go through this. All the experiment did was sit in a position of authority wearing a white lab coat and said, please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. It is absolutely essential that you continue, and you have no choice. You must go on. And of course, everybody had a choice. You could walk out. But guess what? Hardly anybody did. 60% of the people went up to 460 volts, the highest level of pain, and 100% went up to 300 volts. And this experiment has been replicated again and again in different situations. And I might add, Americans on the whole are rather rebellious people and individualistic, but they just went through it. And it wasn't that the teacher or the dupe, the person who was experimented on was happy. Sometimes they were uncomfortable. They were scratching themselves, looking, say, should I do it? What should I do? But when they looked at the authority figure, the person said, continue. And they continued. Then there was another experiment, the Stanford Experiment, and this was done by, again, Philip Zimbardo in the 70s. He took two groups of students, volunteers, and he said that half of you, and it was just a coin toss, will be prisoners, and half of you will be guards. The guards were given military-style position, sunglasses. Absolutely, they started looking like a guard. And the prisoners were put in smocks and ID card numbers, depersonalized. What happened? The guards began to become more and more sadistic. They began to degrade the prisoners. And very shortly, within 5 days, they had to shut the experiment. Again, why? Obedience to authority figure, stress, uniforms, and they wanted to see how jail works. And this experiment worked too well. It was quite horrifying. There's a book, Two Ordinary Men, and it's about these middle-aged men, Germans, who were taken and they became cold-blooded murderers. They were middle-aged men, somebody like me maybe, cigarette salesmen, bankers, and so on. And what happened is that they were sent into the village and they were told that you have to gather the men and kill the women, the children, and the old people. And many of them wept and cried, but they followed because it was a peer pressure. Just because of that, they did that. Now, the question is that after saying all of this, what does it mean? Does it mean that we're all horrible people, we're evil? No, but what I wanted to tell you is that this demon is all within us. We have to realize that any of us are capable of doing these things. We might say, these are Germans and these are Americans, but they're not us. But think about it. During partition, neighbor turned on neighbor, and there were great atrocities on both sides, even though in our textbooks which show otherwise, but terrible things happened on both sides. More recently, I, with my own eyes, saw in Karachi the ethnic groups forming and the hatred that was driven towards the other groups. People were destroyed. People were absolutely shattered. Their lives were destroyed because of this. Remember one thing, heaven and hell is within you, and it depends on whether you make this world a heaven or hell. Over to you.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Samir Hamid, for proposing such a thought-provoking question at the end, that what will you do? Now moving on to the next speaker that we have, and we have an amazing speaker coming up next who has this charming personality and a beautiful smile always on his face. Whenever you see him, you'll smile automatically. He is a member of Karachi Toastmasters Club since June 2020. When I asked him about any story where he defied gravity, he said that when he joined Karachi Toastmasters Club, he appeared in the contest of international speech contest, and he did not win. But then he didn't give up, and he contested in another club in another district, that is District 20, I believe. And he ended up winning second position in the division. So out of 8 division winners, he was second. So from not winning any place in the club, winning a place in the division in another district. What a great example of defying gravity. So before we call him and listen to his project, I will request his evaluator, Toastmaster Shamam Khan, to please share the objectives of his speech and call him so that we can listen to his great speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Shamam.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. This is about Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, right?
Yes, Toastmaster Latif.
Okay. Well, Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali is going to deliver his icebreaker, which will be of 4 to 6 minutes. The purpose of this project is for him to introduce himself, although for the 5th time, because it's his 5th birthday, to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. And the title of the speech is Mercedes. So over to you, Toastmaster Latif. Was I audible?
Yes, yes. All set? All good here? Okay. In past, whenever I have sneezed, I have said that I am allergic to dust. Today, whenever I have sneezed, people keep wondering what it is all about. Then I have to give a proof that all is well. I just have a crooked nose. Toastmaster of the Day, fellow audience and distinguished guests. Responsibilities have come to me in multiplications. I got married, but it's up to me what to choose. So I choose not to wear the wedding ring. I am a father of 16 years old son. But whenever we walk together, I make sure I pretend to be his coach. Wonders what happened when people try to introduce me in front of people of a good team. I'll give an example. I was selected in a football team. And when asked to my coach why he has been selected, he did define something like this. Have you ever heard about Mercedes, which you have bought from a showroom, a vintage style, working on diesel? Yes, yes, I have. On that, he responds, exactly this way our Latif is. He starts slow, but once he starts, he does not give up. I trust his talent, and you should wait and see his talent. So, fellow Toastmasters, this does not mean that if my speech is from 4 to 6 minutes, it will take another 4 minutes for me to gear up. This is me in general. Now, what is the benefit of having a Toastmaster and not delivering his projects? What is the benefit of having an aim, but you don't follow the path? For the guest present here, I just would like to say, anything you would like to be in this world, you have to present yourself well. And that is what Toastmaster does. It prepares you from the interview to the presentation of any project of your style. When I joined Toastmasters, the fellow audience here, I will say they have been my craftsmen. They have crafted me so well and in so much detail that somehow I look past at my 47 years and 50 years, I feel, where was this Latif? How interesting now I have become, how well I can present myself. Friends, if you all want to see that difference, join Toastmasters. This is one of the things which I lacked when I was young. Very important. You terms to look at goals. I was a travel agent. But while looking at the Toastmasters, I start evaluating myself. I start reflecting my past and thought, why not to change this profession? Today, I am out of that work for last 2 months, another 3 months maybe, without salary, but I am not wasting my time. I had a goal. I was that Mercedes who walked the park, but little slow. Today, as I stand, was my first day at the studio who showed that interest. Today, as I stand, I received that email at 2:30 that they are ready to teach me as what we call intern. So things have changed. I have been encouraged by people like you, but outside Toastmasters, I have showed my presence. I have got that courage to show the world what I am looking for. Today, being an icebreaker, I thought that I should show by little instance what has happened. But in a journey large, I should motivate others to stay connected with these Toastmasters, to be enjoying this journey. What it takes, couple of hours or every day, 30 seconds, 30 minutes of yours, but that reflect will help you, encourage you, and gain that confidence which you can be presentable outside the world. Be that Mercedes what I am, who starts slow, but keep on the flow. You will win one day. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif. You have rightly mentioned that Toastmasters is an organization that has potential to change lives and make you a better presenter. So definitely, if any guest out there who wants to become a great presenter can join Toastmasters and learn through the experience. Moving on to the next story of Defying Gravity, we have another amazing story, and I want to read it by her own words. She says that I am a mother, a homemaker, and a philanthropist. She volunteered as a TCF Rehbar and Baghban. She also believes that pure drinking water should be a basic right available to everybody, especially the people of Pakistan. And she is also working for it. She is a graduate of NED University, and she graduated in 2004 with a 6-month-old daughter. Wow. Her act of joining the Citizen Foundation was an act of defiance because she thought that was the purpose of her life. Coincidentally, her speech is about this as well. She is none other than Toastmaster Rabia Zishan. But before listening to her, I would like her evaluator to tell us the objectives of her speech. And for that, we have Toastmaster Noreen Fatma. Toastmaster Noreen Fatma, over to you. Do we have Toastmaster Noreen Fatma with us?
Yes, Toastmaster Noreen is in the meeting. Just give me a few seconds. Let me call her.
Sure.
Actually, her phone is busy, so maybe she is on a call. So I think we can Okay.
Can we
Then
assign somebody else as an evaluator or what?
no, it's all right. It's all right. We can once again change the order because at KTC
Sure.
we continuously need to change the order because this is a commute time, and in Karachi commute time is quite long. So
Sure.
yeah. So I think what we can do is that maybe then maybe you can I think I can be the next speaker, and then after that we can break for Maghrib, and after that we can resume.
All right. So, Toastmaster Rabia, you have more time to prepare. So now, as DTM Talha bin Hamid has put himself into the hot water and decided to speak, who doesn't know DTM Talha bin Hamid? He's one of the very most active member of Toastmasters community, and he is the one who lives a true spirit of Toastmasters and lives the true spirit of service. And when I asked him about a story where he defied gravity, he said that due to being an introvert, which he definitely is not, he's lying, and a victim of bullying at school, I used to be very socially isolated. I'm also prone to bouts of depression. Toastmasters has helped me to break through all this and helped me to defy gravity and my own demons. Wow. So this is what Toastmasters does to most of the members. So before we listen to his amazing speech, I would request his evaluator, who is none other than Toastmaster Ali Asher, to describe his objectives and give him the stage. Over to you, Toastmaster Ali.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Today, my targeted speaker is none other than distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, and he is today delivering his 8th icebreaker. And today his speech title is The Downward Spiral. And the purpose statement of this project is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. The speech length would be 4 to 6 minutes. So, best of luck, DTM Tala. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Toastmaster Latif, would you mind timing me? Thank you so much. I didn't ask him before because I knew he would say yes, even if I asked him at the last minute. So thank you so much once again. Okay, so tell me when you're ready, okay? Okay. No matter who you are, no matter who we all start here. Isn't that correct? This is our first chair, our first cradle, our first place in the world where we have no feet to stand on. Instead, we are cradled by either of our parents. So here am I, a few weeks after my birth in June of 1978. And I'm not smiling. I'm bawling my lungs off. I was a colic baby. And look at my father. He is smiling at me as if I am the sweetest angel from heaven. And you know what? I was such a troublesome baby that even my mother felt reluctant in taking care of me. So it fell to my father. And this is my hometown, Quetta. Crystal blue skies, mountains, the weather, the incomparable beauty. I can write books and books on Quetta, but you really needed to be there in early 80s to realize the sheer beauty of that period and of that city. We used to live in a huge house, and this was my first chair in that house. I believe we have all fallen out of this chair so many times. We've all made messes on this chair so many times. We've all spilled food and much worse stuff on it. haven't we? This was our house, and this is my mother, standing like a queen because her realm extended to a 1,000-yard expanse of rolling lawns and fruit trees and tall pines. And I used to think that all houses must be like that. But I later learned that I only thought that because I wasn't allowed to leave my house. And then there was this sudden and weird transformation. Remember my baby form? This is my version 2. This unbelievably beautiful toddler that led people to ask my parents, is it the same children? Is it the same child? Are you sure he didn't get switched with some other kid? Life started moving, and then 7 years later, my sister came into this world. And you know what happens when a sibling comes into this world? We all become one. We all become a hive mind. We all start thinking with the mental age of the youngest sibling. So we ran after each other. We broke glasses. We played cricket. We chased after each other. And we also played with dolls because anything goes. And then this chair came into my life, the examination chair. Year after year after year in school. And this chair took me through O levels and then through college and finally to this huge building. You know, when you think of a vampire, you think of a tall, pale person, blood dripping from the fangs, but sometimes vampire come in other forms, such as buildings, because this building got this huge thanks to millions of hapless students like me who failed again and again and again and paid the fee again and again. But I qualified in 2002 and they told me that, you know, now all your troubles are over. I should have known better because I just exchanged one set of troubles with a different set of troubles, whole new relationships, and luckily I was married into the family, so nothing was that strange, but perhaps that made it worse. That time in my life between 2006 and 2014 was the most beautiful period of my life. We lived in a tiny house near Safura Road, and I had this car as my office car. And my parents were alive and healthy and engaged with the grandchildren, had 4 beautiful kids. But then I realized that nothing remains the same. Actually, our lives are downward spirals and our struggle is against that downward spiral. We went to Hajj in 2016 and only then I realized that my parents were much frailer than I realized. They constantly needed these wheelchairs. Wheelchairs they never went near when they were living here with us in Karachi. So everything is decaying around you. Everything is crumbling around you. Your bodies, your relationships, the world itself. And you're fighting and fighting and fighting against that chaos. And that's what life is. So I've been a son, I've been a husband, I've been a brother, I've been a friend, I've been a father, I've been a writer, I've been a gamer, I've been a speaker, and I've been a trainer. But you know what? Ultimately, life is all about this, the relationships that you have. It's not about who you are or what you do. It's about the relationships that you have. And as you make your way to this chair, which we all will, and the lucky ones will perhaps skip this chair and jump straight into the grave, but I know I'm traveling towards this chair. One day this chair is going to come into my life and take me to the next stage. And if I have some memories to treasure at that point in time, that will be the greatest wealth that I'll ever have. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, for allowing us to know you better and for helping us to reflect on our lives. So now we'll have a 10 minutes break for Maghrib Prayers. And who will we have as a speaker, DTM Tala, next after the break?
Yes, we will have, if we are lucky, we will have Toastmaster Saad Shweb. If we are even luckier, we will have DTM Maria or Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. So they are all supposed to join in the intervening period.
Sure, sure. All right, so we'll have break now and we'll join back at 32, sharp 32 minutes. It's 22 right now.
Hello everyone, are we there?
All right, so pardon me, I got out of the meeting because of poor internet. So DTM Tala, can we start now? All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Sure. So we will start from where we left with Toastmaster Rabia. And to evaluate her speech, we have the star of ITC Club, who is newly elected Miss President. And in DTM Tala's word, I am handing over the stage to newly elected President in the Karachi Toastmaster Club's meeting. So over to you, Noreen Fatma.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Okay, today Toastmaster Rabia Zishan is going to deliver a speech from Presentation Mastery Path, and she's going to deliver level 1, project 2, that is feedback. And today she is going to deliver her second speech. She has already delivered her first speech, and the purpose of the speech is first, deliver a speech on any project and then receive a feedback and apply it in the second project. And duration of her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And her speech title is Change Your Perception, Change Your Story, Change Your Life. Change Your Life. Over to you, Toastmaster Rabia.
We all are standing in a gutter, but few of us are looking at the stars. I did not say that, Oscar Wilde did. What is life? What is the purpose of our existence? I believe that the purpose of our existence changes with age. If I ask my 6-year-old, Alia, what will you do if I give you lots of money? He will reply, Mama, I'll buy lots of chocolates. And of course, Kinder Joy, don't you know how expensive it is? If I ask the same question to my teenage daughter, she would obviously want an iPhone X and of course some makeup accessories. I believe that the purpose of our life changes as we grow older and wiser, and it also depends upon our responsibilities and our priorities. I joined the Citizens Foundation Volunteer Rehbar Program in 2018. This Rehbar program is a mentorship program for the students of the Citizens Foundation of class 8 and 9. These schools are situated in the underprivileged areas of Pakistan. When I was going through on my commute from my home to the pickup point, I had these grand feelings. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling how great I am and how noble. I'm leaving behind my children at home and my responsibilities as a mother, as a wife, and as a daughter-in-law. And I'm giving out my precious few hours for these children. I reached Millennium Mall, my pickup point. I can never forget that sight. I was mesmerized by it. There was a huge crowd of people mingling together and enjoying chats with each other. They had sparkle in their eyes and a smile on their faces. They didn't need to tell me they were happy because it was obviously shown through their joy on their faces. I met my mentor. She was doing her 15th Rehbar cycle. She introduced me to a friend. He was doing his 25th Reber cycle. My co-mentor was Seema Auntie. She was a 64-year-old woman who retired teacher who was doing her 20th Reber cycle. Remember all the great and noble feeling I was having in my commute a few minutes ago? Those feelings didn't feel so noble anymore. Most of these volunteers were young men and women who were working 5 to 6 days a week, 9 to 5. And the one day they had off, they all chose to volunteer their work, their time for these children. My perspective changed. I realized that the purpose of my life cannot be limited in helping a few people who were already related to me. The first time I joined Reber, I joined it because I wanted to do something for the children. I wanted to give them hope and positivity and something to move forward in life. After spending a few days with them, I realized I had nothing to give them. These children were full of hope and positivity. Most of you cannot imagine the circumstances these children live in, but that did not diminish their hopes and dreams. They had huge dreams and energy and positivity. The second time I did my Reber cycle, I did it because of myself, because I wanted to preserve that energy and that positivity. I remember the second cycle, I was assigned a school in Mulla Isa Gode. One of the elements of the Reber cycle, the mentorship program, is to instill gratitude and positivity. So this activity involved asking the students of class 8 to mention a problem and then to ask them to pick out a positive element from within that problem. I had already thought about all the problems these children might be facing. For example, my father wouldn't let me study higher education. My mother wants me to get married. I do not have new clothes for the wedding coming up next week. Or I do not have a laptop. And I had already thought about all the answers and the positive elements I could find from these problems. It was Unesa's turn. She came up and very gingerly she said, my mother works in other people's houses. She washes their clothes. It is the winter season and they do not have hot water. She washes clothes with cold water, and every time she does that, she has fever and body aches. I was blank. My mind went blank. I was at a loss of words. It felt like somebody had held my heart and squeezed it tightly. Thankfully, another girl came to my rescue and she told Unesa, you should be grateful that you have a mother. I gathered all a little bit strength that I had left and I agreed with her and I told her, yes, Unesa, you should be grateful that you have a hardworking mother who is working honestly to give you a quality life and education. This time, my perception took a turn of many cycles, many circles, and it completely changed. I realized we can never understand what a person is going through from afar. We need to take that step and step into their shoes and feel what they are going through to understand what they are going through. My story changed and my life changed again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rabia Zishan, for sharing your story with all of us. Inspirational story, in fact. Now, moving on to our next speaker, who is a IELTS instructor and a homemaker. She is the daughter of DTM Dr. Salim Ahmed Late. Her hobbies include traveling and reading. Today, she'll be sharing her journey of the digital venture she started. And do you know that she, in 2006, represented KTC in Pakistan in a humorous contest held in Sri Lanka? So she definitely is a defier. So before we listen to her, let's call her evaluator, who is the person who made us laugh in the beginning of the meeting. He's none other than Toastmaster Imran Rana. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today Toastmaster DTM Maria Ahmed will going to deliver two speeches. First speech is from 2 to 3 minutes. The purpose statement of the first speech is, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice, develop a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of his or her team. The purpose of the first speech is for the member to give a short overview of the plan for his or her project. And then she will going to deliver the second speech. And the speech length of the second speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of the second speech will be, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice, develop a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of his or her team. The purpose of the second speech is for the member to share some aspects of his or her experience managing a project. So DTM Maria, the stage is yours.
Yes, all right. Am I audible and visible to everyone? Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, table topic master, and honorable guest. Today, the topic of my speech is indeed very close to my heart and soul, because I have put a lot of efforts, dedication towards this goal. And why I started this all, every aspect and detail is mentioned in it. IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System. In fact, you can say that IELTS has gained a boom or popularity over the past 2 decades, since the students, or you can say non-native English speakers, have decided to move abroad to attain a formal qualification. Same happened with me. When I did my intermediate, I was looking to opt for a fashion design degree. And since Pakistan at that time didn't have many good, or you can say reputed, art and design institute, so I decided to pursue Chelsea School of Arts, which is in London and England, and it is one of the topmost art and design institutes across the globe. So in order to gain admission in that institute, it was a prerequisite to appear for IELTS or to take an IELTS exam. Back in that time, in 2010, IELTS was not very, the IELTS test was not very well known, and there were very few instructors who were actually giving tuitions for that purpose. There were many English training institutes, English language training institutes, but there was not a proper institute, or you can say it was lacking. So somehow I managed to take IELTS exam twice or thrice, and finally I scored the desired marks. But I faced a lot of difficulties. And then I got admission and studied over there. And after coming back to Pakistan, I still face the similar problem. Besides practicing my profession, which is fashion design, I am also teaching IELTS. So when I came back, I thought, why not to develop an institute which will provide guidance and tuitions exclusively for IELTS. It will not be an English language institute, but an institute, or the teachers over there will be an expert for IELTS. So you can say that IELTS has 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And all of these are marked according to different criteria. So what happened? After doing some market research and a lot of Reiki, I came across this brand called IELTS Coach. Can you see that picture? Okay, DTM Talha must have mentioned that one. So I struggled a lot, and I developed a team of 4 professionals. Firstly, it was a career counselor. Why do I need to hire a career counselor for my institute, though both of these are separate departments? So I hired a career counselor because there was a lack, or you can say a shortcoming in our country, where students know what they need to pursue, or what institute they need to go for, or where to apply, but they don't know the channel. Of course, these days everything is accessible on your mobile phone. You just click on your mobile phone and every information is downloaded on your mobile. But at that time, it was not so much easy and accessible. So I hired a career counselor whose main task and only job was to provide professional guidance to students. And students were thoroughly guided and they were not charged. It was a free of cost service, only with the condition if you enroll in the IELTS training program. And the career counselor was professional. He was qualified and expert in that field, and he is trained to answer all the questions patiently. Apart from that, I had a team member who was an expert in providing guidance for speaking module. The most difficult part which students face is speaking. We all can speak in English, but when it comes to speak in front of an examiner, many students get confused. They don't know what to answer, how to answer, and where they should start and where they should stop. So the trainer or the teacher was also trained specifically for this module. And what he used to advise to students, especially those with Pakistani accent, is that try to listen to international news channels such as BBC, CNN, or Fox News, where you can get used to of how to answer and where to answer. And this is also similar to listening module, because we can listen, but in the exam, you have to get used to with the accent and the way the speaker is saying. He will. There are 4 parts of the listening module, and every part has a different accent. First, this is British, American, Australian, and then this is the Danish accent. So in order to answer and grasp the concept, you have to be used to or accumulated with the way the examiner speaks or the speaker talks. And I was providing training for writing module. Writing is the most difficult part, because students do manage, or the candidates do manage to gain good score in listening, reading, and speaking. But when it comes to writing, students are often lacking behind grammar, structure, vocabulary. So these are the basic ingredients which will help you to score a better percentage or marks in writing module. So keeping all these aspects in mind, I have established a digital institute called IELTS Coach. Due to COVID pandemic, since all the academic institutes are closed, so I provide online training to students seeking admission for foreign universities, as well as those candidates who are applying for immigration, be it Canada, UK, USA, or any other. There are 2 formats, paper-based format and computer-based format. Both are entirely different, and it depends what the candidate is comfortable with. Personally, I advise to opt for computer-based format because CBT is easy to attend, and the speaking part can be scheduled on the same day, and result is usually announced online after 2 working days. Contrary to the paper-based test, it is a bit lengthy. Speaking test is usually not scheduled the similar day. You have to come 2 days prior the actual test, and the result is often announced 15 days later. Again, it depends upon the convenience of the student. And what I do, I take batches. Sometimes there is a batch of 5 students or 10 students, and then online classes are conducted, same on the Zoom software. But for speaking, group sessions are always preferred, because it gives you an opportunity to go and listen to other students or to other candidates, how they are going to perform, or how they are going to convey their concepts or their messages. So this was my team consisting of 3 members and myself as the main lead, providing guidance for writing module. So a lot of my students have managed to gain the required score in the first attempt, because as I say, if your foundation is strong, if your training is strong, IELTS exam is not difficult to attain. It can easily be attained only if you have the right concept, right strategy. And since this exam is strictly marked, you cannot exceed the time limit. You have to train yourself to attain certain answer, or you have to write certain number of words in a specific time. So that training is also provided to the students, because you have 60 minutes. For example, you have 60 minutes to to write in the writing section. You cannot exceed. If you exceed, the computer will automatically be locked and you will not be allowed to write afterwards. So besides training students for these...
Maria, sorry to interrupt you, but your time is up. I believe you cannot see the screen.
No, actually, I did not see the screen. Okay,
Actually,
am I disqualified?
No, actually, there is an option. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can continue and finish, obviously. You are disqualified for the first speech, which was 2 to 3 speech. But if you want to, but if you want to deliver the 2 speeches simultaneously, if you can, if you want to mold it into that, then you know, because you have another speech to deliver, right?
Yes,
so
it is interconnected.
it is
Both the speeches are interconnected.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay, fine. In that case, you have let's say, so that was 2 to 3 minutes and 5 to 7 minutes. So that means your upper limit is 10 minutes and you have about 30 seconds to wind up the whole thing.
Okay, just a second. Do I have 30 seconds for the first part or total?
No, total actually.
Okay, I'm just going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. So this was my speech about the digital venture which I have approached. And one thing which I dearly miss is the presence of my father, because it was his dream to see his children establishing their own careers and excelling in them. So certainly the entire credit goes to him, because he was indeed the driving factor, or whatever you can say, whatever I am today is because of him. So this concludes my speech, and over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, GT and Maria, for a detailed intro of your venture. I wish you lots of luck. And moving on to our next speaker, the second last speaker for our prepared speech segment. And for that, we have a Toastmaster who is a marketer and who is specialized in marketing and sales in the humanitarian and development sectors. When I asked him about the story where he defied gravity, I'll share his story in his own words. It will be more fun. From a boy who used to shiver and go blank in front of people, whose throat used to dry up while talking to strangers. Standing on stage was worse than being dead. But in the very first year of joining Karachi Toastmasters Club, I won 3 contests out of 5 contests. Wow, that are held annually. But apart from all those achievements, one thing that I have achieved was that I became a better version of myself, both professionally and personally. So this is Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. And to evaluate his speech, we have another champion of our district, Toastmaster Vanya. Toastmaster Vanya, over to you to explain the objectives of Toastmaster Javed's speech.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening. So Toastmaster Javed Bhatti will be doing his level 1 project 3 of Pathway Engaging Humor. And he will be reviewing basic research methods and presenting Toastmaster Javed Bhatti the most prestigious award. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and thank you, Toastmaster Vanya. So am I audible and visible, if anybody can confirm?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
All right, I would like to share my screen. Am I allowed to do that?
Yes, screen sharing has been enabled. Yes,
fellow
we can see you presenting.
Toastmasters.
Yeah.
All right. Fellow Toastmasters and guests. Awards. Trophies and awards have been around for as long as human history. So today we are going to take a deep dive into the world's most renowned awards. What is an award? An award is something given to a recipient as a token of recognition of excellence in a certain field. This is the definition given on a Wikipedia website. Types of awards, maybe there are military awards, there are civilian awards, entertainment awards, sports awards, science, education, arts, business, and there are a lot of other categories on awards as well. So I will shed a light on a brief history of awards, how it all started. As far as the history can record, the Olympic Games originated in ancient Greece as many as 3,000 years ago. And the trophy which was given to the winner of an Olympic game event was a laurel wreath. Ancient Chinese record shows that superior achievements on the battlefield were rewarded to the medals awarded by the emperor. And in Mayan culture also, high achievements were publicly recognized in ceremonies. So all these ancient civilizations have connection with ceremonies and awards and trophies, a certain kind of recognition for a good performer. This can be done in this was done in a sports arena or in a fighting battle, but the awards were there. Let's take a look into the world's most famous awards. So what is the most prominent sports award out there? It is called the Loris World Sports Award for a Sportsman of a Year. It is an annual award honoring the achievement of an individual man from the world of sports. And it was first awarded in 2000. And lastly, it was given to the tennis star Rafael Nadal in 2021. Most prominent music award we all know are the Grammys, and they first took place in 1958. The Grammys are presented by the Recording Academy to recognize musicians of every age and every genre. And what is the most prominent acting award? Of course, the Oscars. Perhaps the most well-known award in American cinema. The Oscars are handed out every year to actors, directors, producers, film professionals. The Academy, this is also known as Academy Award ceremony. It was inaugurated in 1929, and the event broadcast now draws more than 1 billion viewers worldwide. The next award category is not so much famous, and this is the most prestigious award in computer science. ACM Turing Award. This top computer science award is an ACM Turing Award, generally regarded as the Nobel Prize equivalent for a computer scientist. Talking about Nobel Prize, let's take a look at the most famous awards of all time. It is called the Nobel Prize, which is given for the service to humanity. It is not a single prize, but 5 separate prizes that are awarded to those who have conferred the greatest benefit to humankind. Nobel Prizes are awarded in the field of physics, chemistry, physiology, literature, and peace. The prize ceremony takes place annually, and as per Wikipedia, the Nobel Prize monetary award is around 1,014,000 of, it is more than 1 million, I guess. And this is my favorite one, the most prestigious award in bodybuilding. It is called Mr. Olympia. The winner of the annual IFBB Mr. Olympia contest is generally recognized as the world's top male professional bodybuilder. Last winner was Mahmoud Al-Biasi, also known as Big Ramy. He is from Egypt. Most prestigious award in comedy, Mark Twain Prize for Humor. The Mark The Mark Twain Prize for Human is an American award presented by John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts annually since 1998. And this was last awarded to Dave Chappelle. And what is the most prestigious award in public speaking? Of course, we all know Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking began in 1938, has grown to over 30,000 participants in 141 countries in 2018. But by the 1990s, there were about 10,000 participants every year. The contest has been called the largest speech contest in the world. Last winner was Mike Carr. Then why is I am showing the Nanjaya picture over there? There is a reason. What could be the most prestigious award for all of us Toastmasters of Pakistan? Seeing a world champion of public speaking from Pakistan. This is our dream, and this is achievable. This is achievable. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, awards have been around for as long as human history. And it is one of the most basic desires for human being to be recognized. And this is what Toastmasters does. It provides you recognition on every stage. I'm not able to exit my sharing screen, so I will conclude my speech with the best wishes for all the star-studded Toastmasters that are here in this meeting. And we want to see a Toastmaster winning a world championship from Pakistan, inshallah. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Javed, for such an illuminating speech and motivating everybody and giving us faith that it is possible to have a world champion from Pakistan. And indeed it will we'll see a champion from Pakistan very soon. Now, moving on to our last speaker, who is a very interesting guy. He is an aspiring digital marketing expert. He's also a student of life and uses mistakes as an opportunity for consistent learning and development. Now, when I asked him about his story where he defied gravity, he took it literally. And he shared an amazing story. He said, once I was taking a ride at Aladdin Park in a private ship that used to swing just like a pendulum. The protection railing was mechanically operated and malfunctioned. That was the only moment in my life where I said, it was a good life to live. But by the grace of Almighty, I survived in giving a speech today. So ladies and gentlemen, today we'll listen to Toastmaster Saad. But before that, I will request his evaluator, Toastmaster Javed, to please share his objectives of the speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Javed.
Thank you, Toastmaster Noman. Let me open Saad's message. Hey, buddy, since you are from my evaluator, oh, I'm sorry. I'm literally reading his message out, so I'm not supposed to do that. So Toastmaster Saad Shoaib is delivering a distinguished Toastmaster first speech project. The title of his speech is The Perfect Pilot, and the speech length will be 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this speech of this project is for the member to demonstrate his or her skill as a leader and a public speaker. The purpose of this first speech is for the member.
Apology, Javed.
Yeah.
It's actually the speech 2. It's 2, not 1.
Okay, but the speech length will be same, right?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I think it's the same, right?
Yeah. It's 8 to 10 minutes.
8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So I will repeat the objective of this project. The purpose of this project is for the member to demonstrate his or his skill as a leader or a public speaker. The purpose of this second speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience completing the project. Over to you, Toastmaster Saad.
It starts with one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch the clock by the pendulum swing. Watch the countdown till the end of the day. The clock ticks like the way. So unreal. And then I asked myself, I tried so hard. I got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. But fellow Toastmasters and guests, after much efforts, after much perseverance, it all mattered. And for the benefits of the champion who were not in my speech one, I'm talking about as the VP education of VP education of TSF Toastmasters Club, that my project was achieving distinguished status for that club. And I thought, nope, it can't happen because at a point I was because at a point I was taking 5 roles, 6 roles in the meeting. But things change. Somehow me and my team managed to inspire the other members to do speeches, take up roles, and the result was we reached six goals, and after this is updated, we'll add 1 over here, and we'll go up to 7 DCP goals, and that is another milestone for us. But the story does not end here, because thanks to the most efficient system of Toastmasters, the moment we reach 5 goals, they weren't, and the stats were not updated. So when they were updated, it was April. And what does that mean? We know what that means. Renew. And then we lost many members. So now we are not able to achieve this status. But to solve that, again me and my team, the XCOM are actually making the efforts to again and revive that instinct. But even now, I think reaching these many awards in just 5 months is an achievement. Also because I was told by a member of my own Toastmaster, my own
Toastmaster Club, that this is a Toastmaster for people with stammer. They can't do much. But now I say in your face. But now what's the plan? The plan is simple. This weekend we are about to have the first open house event of our club. And then next week we are about to start well, we are about to start following the footsteps of Toastmaster Jaggi. We are about to start we're about to start a speech craft program. So I'm expecting that helps. But again, even if that's not the case, that's not the case. I can be proud of the effort by my team, by many people in this meeting, even though they did not have any stake with making that Toastmaster a success, but they backed me, supported me, guided me, gave ideas, suggestions, feedback, whatever I asked, they were always available. And to that person who said it, who said it was not possible. Well, the number one Toastmaster around the world, the number Toastmaster club around the world at the moment, in its XCOM has 3 people the stammer. So stammering cannot define success. Stammering cannot say that a person can't do this or that. It's all about perseverance, hard work, dedication, and all of those combined leads to success. With that, it's over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Saad, for sharing your wonderful, successful story. And I'm sure that Guy would have changed his mind if he would have seen you performing with such a passion today. So with that, it was the end of prepared speech segment, and we will move on to vote. Mr. Timer, can I know that all the speakers are qualified?
Yes, all the speakers were qualified.
All right. So I believe that we'll generate a poll so that everybody can vote. Is that so, DTM Talha? Will we have a poll or will we send a text?
Yes, sorry. Toastmaster Saad, are you okay?
You are muted.
Just give me a few seconds, and meanwhile,
Sure.
Meanwhile, you move on to the next segment and I'll float the poll whenever it's ready. Okay.
All right. So without further ado, let's move to another exciting session, which is table topics. So buckle up your seats. It is going to be an exciting journey. And for that, we have a table topic master. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a true defier. Okay, let me confirm. Do we have Toastmaster Vania as table topic master, or?
No, actually it's Toastmaster Farooq.
Toastmaster
Another defier.
Another defier. So Toastmaster Farooq, who was the first champion of District 122. He is an amazing speaker, very eloquent, and always comes with all the ingredients of a perfect speech in his speech. So I'm sure that he'll bring some brilliant topics today. Without further ado, over to you in your huge round of applause, everybody, Toastmaster Farooq.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. I'm hopeful that I am visible and clearly audible to you. Thank you. When I joined Toastmasters, I hate a lot table topic master. But you don't need to worry, because I am taking you to the journey of defying gravity. So sit back and relax, but fasten your seatbelt, because we are defying gravity today. And for this, we have amazing list of topics. Let me tell you some important facts. Do you know who was the first person to defy gravity? Anyone? This person's name was Hazarfen Ahmad Shalabi. He was a Turkish scientist, and he took the first unmotorized flight of 8 kilometers from the European side of Turkey to the Asian side of Turkey. It was happened in 1630. So, our first speaker today, I would like to invite Mr. Zishan Khan. Mr. Zishan.
Yes,
Can
I'm
you hear
here.
me?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. And your topic is, if Apple hadn't fallen on Newton's head, how would we discover gravity? If Apple hadn't fallen on a Newton head, how would we discover gravity?
Table topic master, sorry, also remind the word of the day.
Yeah. The word of the day is perseverance. Please use the word perseverance as word of the day.
Okay. Perseverance, if the word itself and the meaning itself didn't existed, the apple wouldn't have been falling. Anything you throw up in the air, it's likely going to fall down. And nobody wondered except the scientist Einstein, who wondered, was it Newton? Was it Newton or Einstein? Okay, any one of those, it doesn't matter, because the apple has fallen anyways. So whenever you throw something up, it is likely to come down. It's similar to success. It's similar to failure as well. Failure has its own limits. On the rising side, rather than the plunging side, it goes to a maximum point and it falls down, because the law of gravity works. And there is no defying gravity in this particular perspective, because it prevails to an extent that it gives you a learning curve so that you can move forward, observe, explore, discover, and proceed. And that's what the scientists thought about. And that's what Steve Jobs thought about as well. But then his idea was not the apple from the tree which fell into the lap of the scientist. It was the apple that Adam ate, and he was banished from the heaven. Think about this. If he hadn't eaten that apple, we would have been in heaven. So apple has always been a significant part in all three major religious books, that is, or the religions itself, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And with this, apple, no matter how high you can throw, it's going to come back to you. So it's rather thinking about it, rather eat it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, TMD-san. So the first person I told you who defied gravity. Who was the second? The Wright brothers. In 1903, they did something which we all are benefiting right now. So our next speaker is all the way from Malaysia, TM Imran Law. Can you hear? Can we hear you, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Your topic is attraction versus gravity. Attraction versus gravity. The word of the day is perseverance. Please take the stage.
Right. Thank you very much, Robert. Right. Attraction versus gravity. I mean, as a person who studied engineering, the first thing that comes to my mind is basically the laws of gravity. I mean, one thing I always find very interesting, at least about the law of gravity, was that we all keep saying it's the law. And if you define in a lot of studies, I think laws are usually very well defined. We have the formulas, we have theories behind it. But one thing very weird about gravity is that we know how it works, we see how it works, but we can't really explain how it works. It's a very interesting phenomenon. You see two heavy bodies getting attracted to one another, but yet again, we still can't explain why it's attracted to one another. But yet we call it law because we can see it very well. So I always find that very fascinating and very interesting. So, and then when you think about, so that's what I always think about attraction and gravity. It always comes back to that. And when people ask me about it, and they always get the same question. So that is what I think about it, and I'll pass it over back to you, Farouk.
Thank you, Tim Imran. Now, after Wright brother, what happened to gravity? Sputnik was the first satellite which went out of the orbit of Earth and rounded around the Earth. It was happened in 1957. Our third speaker will be TM Hebarais. TM Hebarais, can we hear you?
Toastmaster Heba is in the meeting. Toastmaster Heba, are you there?
Yes, I can see her, but
maybe you can move on to the next speaker and then come back to her.
okay. So I would like to invite our guest, Amar. Amar, can we hear you?
Yes, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible. And your topic is,
thank you.
Do you see gravity as your strength or as weakness? Do you see gravity as your strength or as a weakness? The word of the day is perseverance. Please use it. Take the stage.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tabletop Master, TM Farouk, for giving me such an important topic. The topic is gravity as a weakness or strength. Well, I would start by saying that there are numerous laws in the universe, and we call them laws, as just Team Imran said. And these are laws of the universe because we can observe them. And just like gravity, just like the water flow in the pipes, which was discovered. And these are laws which are observable in the universe. But there are also some laws which are not observable. Sometimes we call them fate or law of attraction or something like that. So these are all laws defined by Allah Almighty, of course, and these are all to help us navigate our lives in this world. And gravity is such a law because I just recalled a verse which is mentioned in the Holy Quran, and I just can tell you the meaning, not the actual verse, but it says that you cannot actually go beyond the borders of the universe, and these laws exist for these specific reasons because Allah has defined them as such. And these are such precise laws, and we can reach the moon by gaining the precision from this, by actually calculating the length and force of these laws. So actually it is our strength, and we can use these laws to actually and go beyond these laws because Allah has defined all the boundaries himself. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amar. And now I'm asking you a very easy question. Who is the first person to step into the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Thanks. Everybody knows. So he did this defying gravity thing in 1969. And our fourth speaker for today's evening will be our champion and all the way from Islamabad, TM Abrar Wani. TM Abrar?
Yes. Yes.
TM Abrar?
Yeah, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible and now you are visible also. So the topic for you is gravity of grievances and excuses. Gravity of grievances and excuses. And the word of the day is perseverance. Take the stage.
Come again with the topic, please.
Gravity of grievances and excuses.
Thank you very much, topic master. Very nice topic given to me. Gravity of excuses. Well, my question to you is, have you ever played a game? Definitely, everybody. What happens in a game? There are two teams. For example, take an example of a football team. Two football teams playing each other. Every team try his best to reach the opponent's goal. So there is a purpose. There is a purpose to reach other people's goal in order to score your goal so that you could win the game. Now imagine if there is no opposition, there is no opponent team, and the goal is empty in front of you. What will happen then? The result is very obvious. You will lose your interest. There'll be no game. So in order to existence of any game, there must be opposition. There must be some sort of gravity opposing you. You cannot excuse anything that, well, you cannot win game because your opponent was strong. This is something which actually gives you power to try hard, to work hard. Like I faced some very strong contestant in the international contest for the tall tale. And now what the thing is now pushing me up is to work hard, to deliver more and defy gravity, and do not present any kind of excuses that, well, this happened, my act was not right, or I couldn't do that. well, these all excuses will make you further down, will make you further take you away from your goal. So my advice, every one of you is always be there to defy gravity. Do not oppose, do not give any excuses, so that you could say proudly to yourself, I am the one to defy the gravity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Team Abrar. Now, when I was thinking who was next to the Neil Armstrong, after that, when the person sat on the moon, what is the achievement of humanity? Anybody can tell? What is on my list? Who is the next to Neil Armstrong? Nobody has yet moved to the Mars. So who is next? Any one of you?
There was some person,
The
you
person who made
recorded?
water-powered car.
Yeah. Any one of you is on my list. So who is next to defy the gravity? Who is M to go to the Mars? Raise your hands. DTM Tala, I'm
Jeff
sure you can.
Bezos and
So I'm calling my last speaker, and hopefully TM Hiba, can we hear you?
Yes, I'm here.
And the topic is defying gravity. What is my inspiration? Defying gravity. What is my inspiration? And the word of the day is perseverance. TM Hiba, take the stage.
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, table topic master. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, my inspiration has been a multiple of people over my life. Time, I take inspiration in the way they contribute to the society. I take inspiration from the hard work they do, whether in an organization or by contributing to a society. And some of them have defied gravity, you know, such as the person who manages SIUT. He's also a person to be inspired by, and then he's defied gravity as we all know it, and we all know what his contributions are. And also there are other people such as there was this person I came across when working in Jubilee General Insurance. He's the CFO, Naved Jamal, and such Naved Jamal, and I also Abdul Satyar Edhi as well. So such people have contributed in many ways, and have helped people in their perseverance and in the way they contribute to the society, bring changes, etc., etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team Hiba. And this was our table topic today. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to ask Mr. Timer that everybody is qualified.
I am thoroughly disappointed to inform that everybody qualified.
Yeah. So I repeat the name of people. First speaker was TM Zishan Khan, then TM Imran Law, then TM Ammar, then TM Abrar, and last TM Hiba. So I give back the charge to Toastmaster of the day.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Farooq. I don't know whether there is music playing in your background, but I'm loving it though. Or is it distinguished Toastmaster Tala? It's very soothing. So it was a wonderful table topic session. I hope that every one of you enjoyed. We from the very beginning of this meeting have been talking about defying gravity, doing something extraordinary and beating all the odds and achieving something great. Now, this all conversation makes me remind advice that I received from one of my mentors, and it is going to be it is going to sound a little contradicting, but it is not. He said to me that, Numan, whenever you achieve something, whenever you reach any place, whenever you defy gravity, always stay grounded. Amazing. So it might sound a little contradicting, but the ground is where the roots belong. So you can never leave the ground whatever heights you reached. Socrates, one of the wisest men of his age, used to say that I know one thing, that I know nothing. And he used to tell people that I have a genie who comes and who gives me all the wisdom. This is not me. So he always stayed grounded. Somebody, Toastmaster Heba mentioned Abdul Satyar Edhi, one of the great example that he was a defier, but yet he was grounded. He achieved so much in his life, from not having a single penny in his pocket and building a ambulance network worth billions and being one of the largest ambulance network in the world. He stayed grounded and he never forgot his roots, and he was there to learn, because when you are grounded, you are open to learning. You want to learn. So with this thought, we'll move on to our next segment, which is which is of evaluations. And for that, we have another defier. She is an inspiration to me, and I believe inspiration to many. I know because I've been a participant of two contests. It is very hectic. The process of participation, it is very hectic. And having 4 contests and 2 contests each day, oh my God, she's absolutely amazing. And then winning 3 contests and being second place in the 4th one, she is a superwoman, I always say. So over to Toastmaster Vania Abbas as General Evaluator for today's meeting.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Numan. That was very kind of you to say such words for me. Believe me, you are an inspiration for me. Listening to you as a Toastmaster of the day itself was an inspiration. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Toastmaster Vania Ahmed Abbasi, the General Evaluator for this ship, which is Defying Gravity. Defiers of gravity, the speakers that we had for this session, need feedback. And this feedback is like those power tools. You see those updates you get on your laptop or on your phone? That app needs to be updated. Feedback is like that. Take this as an update and improve yourself to go higher and faster. Without further ado, I will move towards the speech evaluations first. And for that, I will be inviting Toastmaster Karim Meghani, who will be evaluating DTM Samir Dodi. The demon in you. Let's have its evaluation. Toastmaster Karim, are you here?
Actually, Toastmaster Karim had sent me a message that he has been called for an urgent meeting in his office. So he passed on the evaluation to me. So I will just read out his evaluation. Okay. So everybody who's listening, you are requested to just listen to the evaluation and consider the content for voting, and please ignore my horrid delivery because I'll be reading someone else's evaluation. So with that, I will also request Toastmaster Latif once again to time me. Okay. Okay. So imagine for a second that I am Toastmaster Karim Meghani and I am evaluating DTM Samir. First of all, okay, yeah, I am decaying and my eyesight is also going away. First of all, you excelled at great opening. You caught audience attention by showing the horrific pictures of prison and cruelty of the world. Also, you engaged the audience with questions which makes the audience to think and reflect. Great content and research on the subject. The Milgram Experiment, the Stanford Experiments gives us great insight on the subject. Concluding question that what will you do makes us think more harder on this subject. Now for the improvement areas. The presentation looked quite heavy for a speech of 5 to 7 minutes. Usually too many pictures in quick succession make the certain impact, but also make the audience confused because they are also trying to remember the event. I personally love to present the subject in a lower speed, maybe one example, and spend more time on the interpretation and the conclusion. To challenge yourself, I would love to see you standing and delivering this presentation with extended body movement. I understand the digital medium puts some restrictions on us, but some drama, including voice modulation, can enhance the quality of the presentation. Your spoken language was very clear. Your vocal variety left something to be desired. Your eye contact was very effective. Your gestures were again limited and hobbled by you sitting down and with this screen limitation. You demonstrated great audience awareness. Your comfort level and audience interest were both exceptional. Your slide design overall was very good and very suitable for this medium, other than the quick succession that was mentioned. And whether your slides enhance your speech or not, that is a debatable point. Maybe you could have made the same points without the slides as well. Topic lends itself to using presentation software. You selected a superb topic to use presentation software. So this is Toastmaster Kareem Meghani signing off, and over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Vani Abbasi.
Thank you so much, DTM Mohammed. Next, we will be having Toastmaster Noreen Fatma, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Rabia Zishan. Change your story, change your life. Toastmaster Noreen Fatma, let's have an evaluation of this speech.
Today, Toastmaster Rabia delivered an inspirational story and changed our perspectives of life by sharing her story of joining TCF, that how it actually changed her own life perspective. Overall, it was a well-structured speech. It has catchy opening with an impactful quote, followed by a strong body with different stories, and ended up with a strong conclusion. I found her very confident throughout her speech. She was clearly audible and visible. She maintained good eye contact as well. And I have also noticed that her body gestures were also improved and were inclined with the speech content. However, we all know there is always room for improvement. And these all improvements will be beneficial for all of us, that we can apply and become better speaker. First of all, we all know fellow Toastmasters stories are a powerful tool to convey any idea or message. However, if more than 2 stories are added in our speech, they actually distract the audience, and it makes them difficult to understand the essence of the idea that we are actually sharing. So I advise Toastmaster Rabia in her future projects to not add more than 1 or 2 relevant stories, which are more, we can say, relevant to the subject that she is actually sharing with us, so that it will connect her audience along her way. Secondly, at some points, I have also observed that voice modulations could also be improved, especially at some points when she said that I don't have a laptop. She could say, I don't have a laptop, or at some point she said she has fever and body aches. She could say she has fever and body aches. So she could add some voice modulation by lowering down her voice or making high pitch, so that it can actually engage the audience more, and it can add more flavor in her story. Thirdly, for online speeches, it is always advisable to use some plain white background, or those backgrounds which are less crowded. So I advise her for her future projects to use some plain background, or not distract her audience, and it will make her audience connected with her speech. Overall, it was a great speech with impactful message, only with little improvements on few stories with the right transitions and working on some voice modulations and virtual background. She can improve in her future projects. And I wish her great luck for her future projects. Over to you, ma'am, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Noreen. Next, we will have another defier of gravity, another example of perseverance. And for this, we will have Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, who will be evaluating DTM Talha bin Hamid's speech, The Downward Spiral. Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Vani Abbas. Oh, they say that the sky is the limit, but we say that defying gravity for a person is a right word who is delivering his eighth icebreaker. And believe me, this is more than an action of the perseverance to evaluate this wonderful. He is someone who is a distinguished Toastmaster, of a great guy, and he is delivering his icebreaker, and he starts with a picture of his father who is carrying a baby, and eventually that baby is DTM Talha. From June 1978 to 2021, a journey with beautiful pictures on the background, wonderful sound. I love the way he used sounds, and I feel that thing that the sound effects were changing according to the situation. So I must say this is a very smart, or what can I say, a genius move that we all, it was a trailer for me of a big movie, the life of DTM Talha, from his childhood, how he, and the analogies he used, the example he used, the change of chairs from a court to the wheelchair. We can see all those things, and I think it is a complete story of him. I can feel those emotions, sentiments, and the passion in him while he was living. But as I am his evaluator and I have to say something for improvement, so what can I say? This speech can be a bit more better if we can see the full body of distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. And I want a movie or a detailed segment of his life instead of a trailer. So a rush of things can be adjusted to an extent. Overall, it was a great speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Vani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, for your evaluation. Very truly said. Next, we will have Toastmaster Shamam Khan, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. Mercedes. Toastmaster Shamam Khan, let's tell Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali how to make his Mercedes levitate and defy into gravity. And defy gravity, not into gravity, defy into space. Toastmaster Shamam Khan.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Vania. Well, we will not actually discuss the defying the gravity, but we would discuss his icebreaker as an introduction to the club. So before I start and get on to my observations, did you all know that Toastmaster Latif is a naturally slow doer? No or yes? No. So here you go, Toastmaster Latif. You are successful in enhancing relationship with the audience and use your icebreaker to share some effect that we would not be able to know easily. So thank you for showing us a new aspect of you. Toastmaster Latif shared a serious message by comparing him with a Mercedes and some learning about presenting himself to the world and winning gradually, proving slow and steady wins the race. So that was wonderful. I was really impressed with the well-constructed and structured content. First of all, right in the beginning, he got my attention by sneezing. And then I had a sigh of relief when he explained that this is not COVID, this is just his crooked nose. So that was a wonderful beginning to attract audience. Then it's worth highlighting that he tied his icebreaker with his new pathways, the 5th pathway, by the way, motivational strategy. When he used that, the changes he got by joining Toastmasters, and then he motivated all of us to keep up with the Toastmasters. So that was really great to tie his icebreaker with his pathways. He connected with us by adding a human element to the story, how he was in the beginning, and maintaining my interest particularly till he concluded with a wonderful message: start slow, but keep up with the flow. That was a wonderful content that I really liked. I found that clear transitions were missing somewhere. For example, when you had mentioned crooked nose, then you mentioned Mercedes, and then you mentioned Toastmasters. Clear transitions, maybe using a then or now, I'm going to tell you about that, or maybe some connection that could have managed the flow of it. It seemed to me that there were 3 little things, that were not connecting with each other. So that was a small thing that I found missing, and maybe you can try using clear transitions in your next content when you deliver. Delivery was power packed, I must say, with all the pitch, appropriate pace with that. One thing I noticed is the need of more pauses. Toastmaster Latif did wake me up when he mentioned something about job for another 3 months without salary. And that was wonderful. I really liked it. And so these kind of pauses can be more engaging when it comes to attract audience. Hand gestures were well used to demonstrate change. So that was great. Overall, you excelled at creating the content of Icebreaker through the lens of philosophy of life. You may want to work on pauses. You may challenge yourself in using clear transitions, but I congratulate for your perseverance to go for 5th pathway. Your icebreaker was basically an answer to the Toastmasters like myself who wonder what to present in our 2nd, 3rd, or 5th pathway. So that was wonderful. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shawn. Thank you so much. Next, we will have Toastmaster Imran Rana, who will be evaluating DTM Maria's speech on IELTS. Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, if I asked what IELTS is, after listening carefully to DTM Maria's speech, I can confidently explain what IELTS is all about. Thank you so much for selecting such topic. DTM Maria started with the detailed explanation what IELTS is all about and highlighted importance of IELTS and brought her personal story about passing the IELTS examination. Personal stories create interest for the audience. After extensive research about IELTS, finally you fulfilled one of DTM Salim's wish that he wanted to see all his children successful. and you being successful to open up your own IELTS Institute. So here I come to know that that was the project all about. A project to be successful requires a good team. So you were successful to manage a good team consists of career counselor, team player for speaking module, and finally you jumped in and steered the writing module by yourself. And you explain each module in detail with some interesting questions: what to speak, how to speak, when one should start, when one should stop. You told us about online training online training and online papers. Also told us about computer-based papers. You ended up with encouraging remarks: with strong foundation and right concept, anything can be achieved within a specified time. Overall, you were eloquent and good command over language. However, the eye contact is not with the camera. It was more like with the wall than with the camera. And sometimes it feels like that wall is much important than us. So you need to be focused on your camera so that you have a good eye contact with the audience. It is suggested to have waist height camera view so that you can deliver your speech comfortably without challenging yourself. Since the project has 2 speeches, if your speech delivered in that way according to the project requirement, that would be wonderful. Although your speech has in-depth knowledge, speech with so much knowledge is difficult to retain. If there was slides in a form of presentation with facts and figures in that way, you would have created a good and different impact, and most of the knowledge could be retained with us. Overall, it was a speech full of knowledge, full of detailed information. With above suggestion, you can ace in your speech presentation. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nimran Rana. Next, we will have Toastmaster Vania Basi, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Javed Bhatti's speech, the most prestigious award. Toastmaster Vania, it's on you now. I'll give the stage to her. Please confirm if I'm audible. Thank you so much, General Evaluator. That was very kind of you. Am I audible and visible? Please give me a thumbs up. All right. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, the most prestigious award. A very nice topic to pick to research on, because we as an audience and Pakistanis want to learn what are these prestigious awards that we one day can conquer, acquire, and put on our shelves. You had a good introduction to your speech. You started with what Wikipedia has to say about this prestigious award. And then you carried on to the list of these awards that the world has to offer. Some of them that the audience were unaware of. For example, the prize called Mr. Olympia, or the Mark Twain Award for humor content, humorous speeches, or the Computer Science Award. These were some of the awards that the audience did not really know of, me included. Moreover, I really liked the fact that towards the end of the speech, you created an impact on the audience by saying that one day, Pakistan will have a world champion, inshallah. Now that impact is something that if you leave the audience with it, the audience itself feels very motivated to embark that platform and reach there. And inshallah, one day we will. And then moreover, how to make your speech from good to greater, I have a few recommendations. I noticed that there was a little bit of more content on your slides. How about reducing content on your slides and engaging with the audience more by telling them the story, narrating what you have to say to the audience instead of making the audience read on the slides. Apart from that, your content was great. Your way of delivery was also great. You had an impactful tone in your speech, but probably reducing the content would have made the audience engage with you more than on these slides. And then I also noticed that somewhere the gestures and the expressions were missing. Now that can be incorporated if you were standing, probably having a standing position gives you more opportunity to bring your body language and your gestures and your expressions out, like saying Nobel Prize. Why not mention the Malala Yousafzai being the Nobel Prize winner of Pakistan? Mentioning that with an energetic tone, keeping all personal opinions aside, mentioning it because it is a pride for Pakistan of being a Nobel Prize winner. And then moving on, I noticed that some of the facts were missing. If we had noticed a few facts, like what is the male-female ratio of, let's say, one of the awards, Grammys, what is the male-female ratio? How are they doing now? Like, how have they adjusted to the pandemic? Or what is the maximum amount of awards gone to a particular musician or a singer? Some facts that could have given us a graphical or a numerical outlook of the facts that you can represent, some graphs or the numbers that you can show. That would have given a very clear picture of what's going on and what are the statistics. And another thing to make your speech even more scintillating, to have a camera position that is appropriate to the speech that you're delivering, so that we know that you are presenting your research or you're sharing some facts with us, and you're trying to connect with the audience by telling them what are these awards, what are some of the facts and figures, and put some energy and expressions in it. Because let's admit it, this project is a little dry, researching and then presenting. To make it a little more interesting, you can do it by bringing more energy into your body language, your camera position, your expressions, and maybe even use some props if possible, and showing more graphs and making it a little more colorful. Apart from that, a great speech with eye contact. I noticed there was eye contact, with clarity, good structure of the content, and an impact. I say, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, congratulations on completing this project. Over to the General Evaluator. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vanya, for that evaluation. Now we will move on to the last speech evaluation, which will be done by Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, the perfect pilot. Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, let's evaluate the perfect pilot.
One thing I don't know why, but in the end, it all mattered, Toastmaster Saad. Toastmaster Saad, I admire you. You always take the bulls by its horns, called courage. And that is a very rare attribute to possess, because that's what leadership is. It is an art of motivating a group of people to act toward achieving a common goal. Today, you displayed leadership skills as well as public speaking skills in this project. So let's talk about the leadership part first. How you were taking 5 to 6 roles in a meeting, managing within XCOM with only 3 members, the challenges you faced when you reached 5 DCP goals, and how you overcame those hurdles. Through your story, I was able to see a leader that has a vision, confidence, and courage. Now let's talk about your public speaking part. The content of your speech and the subject you chose for this specific project was very well in line with the project requirements. One change which I have noticed in you is that you are now delivering speeches in a standing position with a variety of hand gestures, open palms, widening and shortening of hands. There were no unnecessary body movements. You had audience awareness. You were comfortable. But these were all the good parts. Now, to make your speech more better, I think there are a couple of areas which I think you can improve upon in your next speeches. I noticed that when you were rhyming, you were not stammering at all. And I'm curious to know that is it because of practice or it's something natural? If it is natural, then you may try and explore the possibility to practice more on this. Maybe you can begin your next speech with this rhyme. Chosen one, I'm the living proof with the gift of gab from the city of truth. I jabbed and stabbed and knocked critics back, and I did not stutter when I said that. How about that? And I think you can do that. One more thing that I felt was missing was the basic structure of your speech. You had good opening and a good solid conclusion, but when you move towards the body part of your speech, I was lost. I felt that there was something missing. Maybe a transition would have helped. Finally, I was not able to grasp your role in your team. Since it was an XCOM team, I somehow missed whether you were the president or a VP membership. You were taking multiple roles. So defining your role or your position would have helped me. Apart from that, I think you completed this project with flying colors. You finished strongly. Toastmasters who stammer can't do much. I say to them, in your face. Stammering cannot define success. It's all about perseverance and hard work. It truly is. Congratulations, Toastmaster Saad. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Javed. Thank you so much for your evaluation. Now we will move on to the role reports from our role players. First and foremost, I would like to hear from the timer if all the evaluators have qualified.
All except you.
Thank you. Okay, I couldn't see the timer at all. First I could see you and then you vanished from the screen. I wonder why. But that's all right. We learn by doing. No matter what champion or not, we learn by doing. All right. So now we will move towards, how about you give us the report first? Timing is everything. Let's hear from you.
Sorry?
Your report first. Will you be giving a report, like telling us everyone's timings, the speakers and the evaluators?
No. Actually, most of my report has already been given to the through the vote counter, so not really needed.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right then. First, we will have our grammarian with us. In the words of Andy Zaltzman, freedom is good, but arguably grammar is better. And for that, I would like to call Toastmaster Shamam Khan on the virtual stage to give us the report as the grammarian.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for asking for grammarian's report. The grammar today was really good. I got to hear some cool metaphors like using a wheelchair while mentioning the stages of life. And then there was a very nice something that I'm missing here. Forget about it. So that was good. A metaphor used. I really liked it. Some verbos I noticed like more, better, more, improvement. You know, once you use a second form, you don't need to use more or very shortly kind of things. So these were little things that could be improved with speaking, practicing. Then there were a little improvement, again, the same thing. Then there was a little verbose about those feelings didn't feel the same. So that could be those feelings were not the same. Then there was inconsistent verb tense at places when if I have not heard correctly, pardon me, there was this had eaten. It could have been eaten. It could have been, no, it has to be eaten. Then it was happened, could it happened was sufficient. Then there was a word that I heard is body aches. That should be body ache, I guess. So these were little things that I noticed on the grammar front. Otherwise, it was a perfect display of using good language and grammar. There were no mispronunciations, no wrong pronouns, no incomplete sentences. So I really enjoyed being a grammarian on this session. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shamam. All right, so there is one thing I would like to ask DTM Tala bin Hamid. DTM Tala, what is the evaluation time for a table topic evaluation?
It is 30 seconds per speaker, but it is not written anywhere. It's just a rule of thumb.
All right, all right. So I was thinking, why be alone? Why be banished as a a lone person in the disqualifiers? That place. So I was hoping that if the table topic evaluator could join me. Toastmaster Jaya Jaggi, let's have your evaluation as the table topic evaluation. Please join me in the disqualifiers room. I'm joking.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Am I clearly audible and visible to all? Thank you. Wow. What an amazing table topic session with diverse topics and beautiful responses of 5 amazing speakers. To commence my evaluation, I would start off with Toastmaster Zishan, who responded, if Apple had not fallen on Newton. And I loved how he incorporated humor by saying, Einstein or Newton, oh, doesn't matter. Secondly, Toastmaster Zishan is blessed with great vocals, and hence he had a clear vocal variety and a clarity of his voice that I absolutely loved and make his response very soothing to our ears. Thirdly, I loved his pauses when he mentioned law of gravity works. One recommendation is for Toastmaster Zishan is that he could incorporate his hand gestures. For example, when he mentioned that apple, he could raise his hands. Also, I could hardly see his hands moving throughout the speech. My speaker number 2 was Toastmaster Imran. I loved how he started off his response to the topic attraction versus gravity by saying, I'm an engineering student. It definitely had that humor in it and a great start to attract the audience. I loved his facial expressions when he shrouded his forehead actually. And thirdly, I loved your smile, which actually impacted what you were saying. One recommendation is if you could work on the structure of your response, that as it had a very good introduction, transition to a body, but conclusion was quite abrupt. For example, you could actually repeat the topic of attraction versus gravity, or could say whether you support attraction, law of attraction, or gravity, or anything that comes to your mind at that moment. A job well done. My third target speaker was guest Ammar. I loved how he used his hand gestures throughout the responding the topic, gravity as strength of weaknesses. And he mentioned reach the moon, and he actually used his hand gestures as if the moon was here. A job well done. Also, I loved his pauses throughout the speech when he mentioned not observable. A job well done. One thing I want him to work upon is eye contact, as most of the times I could see him looking down, which actually made me disconnected to his speech. Overall, it was a very good structured response. Our 4th target speaker was Toastmaster Barwani. I thoroughly enjoyed his response. It was wonderful start with a question, transitioned into an example of a game, and then how Toastmaster Barwani actually connected to that game with the topic given, that was gravity of grievances and excuses. Also, his stress on important words like gravity, opposition. I wish I had vocals like you, Toastmaster Barwani. And one thing I would suggest him to work upon is his hand gestures, as I could hardly see those. Now, my next speaker was Toastmaster Hiba, who had a very good vocal clarity while she mentioned bring changes. And one thing I loved is she took the names of people who inspired him, and also their introduction was mentioned. One thing she could work upon is placing camera in a right position, and also her eye contact, because she was looking here and there. That's all from my side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, you are thoroughly qualified, Toastmaster Jaya.
Thank you so much, DTM Tala. And thank you, Toastmaster Jaya, for your evaluation. I will now move on to listener. And in the words of Dean Jackson, listening is an art that requires attention over talent, spirit over ego, and others over self. And for this session, we have Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum as our listener. Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, let's have you on the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Evaluator. So I request you all to please unmute yourself. And are you ready? Because now I'm testing your listening skills. Okay. So my first question is that when he starts, he does not give up. Who is he? When he starts, he does not give up. Who is he?
Toastmaster Latif.
Great. Okay.
He was blushing so anybody could guess.
I got
Okay. During his speech, who said that 100% up to 300 volts?
Toastmaster Samir.
Yes. Okay. Let's come with the next one. Lots of responsibility on my shoulder. Who said these words?
Can I say
Lots
myself?
of responsibility. Okay.
Toastmaster Noman.
Yes. Toastmaster of the day.
Of course.
So who?
No, I heard you.
Okay. So wait a minute. Let's. Okay. The apple will fall anyway.
Toastmaster Dishan.
Okay, good. Now that is a last one, and I will make sure that this is going to be the tough one. So it is. Start slow, but keep up with the flow. It starts. Yes, but another person used this phrase.
Well, I did that. Oh.
You're not supposed to do this thing. So this is a pure cheating that two of the my phrases were cheated. So that's not fair. So that's all from my side. Over to the generative evaluation.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum. Next, we will have our counter, Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. Toastmaster Latif, let's have a report from you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. And having you all present today as Big Four really made our meeting a little more. It's like you have gracing our meeting. With my report, when I used to hear my own speech, I think I have used some of the time filler words. TM Noreen has used many times. TM Rabia, actually, I suggest you should be listening to your recording because there were many sentences where you have used the filler words. Who was retired? Who was aged? So there, it can be made in one sentence. There were like many circles and many circles and many cycles. There were 2-3 words which I found it's like, similar to that. DGM Maria had a lot of R's. So I forgot my counting while doing that. So I urge DTM Maria, please, if you can see that recording, there were many times there was, or you can say, and. So it would have polished the 10-minute speech into a very wonderful one if this was a little bit corrected. TM Javed, for my surprise, had some R's. Other than that, everyone was splendid. And if I have not noticed, my bad. Over to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. Next, all right. So we are done with the role reports. Will the grammarian be giving the report for Wordmaster? Yes.
Yeah.
Let's have the report from you.
Okay. Thank you, General Evaluator, asking for this word of the day report. There were pretty good uses. 4 Toastmasters that I noticed used it. Toastmaster Noman more than once. Toastmaster Saad once, though he didn't know, he was not paying attention to the word of the day, which is not a good thing. Toastmaster Hiba once. Toastmaster Vania once. With that perseverance, I would also like to tell an interesting thing about perseverance. Perseverance is not only continue to be doing things against the difficulty and all. Perseverance is also a rover that was landed in 2017 on Mars. So initially I was thinking that maybe out of the blues, maybe someone would use Perseverance rover in somewhere. But this is just for the information that it was landed in Mars in 2017 as the first leg to overall Mars around overall trip to the Mars. So over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shamam, for your report and for that piece of knowledge. Loved that. Thank you so much. Now that we're done with the evaluations and the role reports, I will now move on to my own report as a General Evaluator, which is a very tough and challenging job, especially when it's a KTC meeting. All right. Please vote for the best facilitator. Interesting. Thank you. So the meeting started on time. We started at 6:31, which is on time only. The Sergeant at Arms had a very strong and a very energetic start to the meeting by saying that it's not an ordinary one, it's an extraordinary one by as we have champions. And he titled it as Galaxy of Champions. Loved that title. Thank you so much. And in this Galaxy of Champions, we are not just the big 4 are not the only ones. Every one of you is a champion, and the galaxy is made of us all champions. Then the presiding officer took over and warmly welcomed all the guests and conducted a good business session. And then the Toastmaster of the day, our champion Toastmaster Numan Abid, gave an energetic start, started the meeting energetically. And I must mention, I really liked the fact how you beautifully mentioned that gravity is not something, the force that we study about in science. Gravity is all those things that's pulling you down in your life. I really love that fact. I really, I appreciate you for this. And then you had, like every time you invited the speaker, you had already contacted them and asked them, but when did you defy gravity, or what's your experience? And I love the fact that you included a small introduction before inviting the speaker. That was also very nice. And I also really admire the fact that the availability of the speakers was a little uncertain. So the new order was established and was taken over smoothly. I commend on that too. And then the speakers, wow. Amazing speeches. Let me tell you, this was the way I was sitting during the speeches. With my mouth open, I cannot do that because I will look ugly. This was my expression with eyes open and mouth open and just lost into the speeches. Amazing, amazing, beautiful speeches. And not only just enjoyable and entertaining, informative as well. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then we had a table topic session. Toastmaster Farooq really took it up a few notches by giving a very interesting introduction and then sharing a few facts here and there, especially before giving a topic, which was very interesting. And something new that I observed was that he interacted with the audience by asking, who was the first man who stepped on the moon? By the way, Neil Armstrong was the second man to step on the moon. The first one is the guy whose name I cannot pronounce. And then we also, and amazing speakers, table topic speakers, as Toastmaster Jaya has very eloquently and nicely evaluated the table topic speakers. All of them were amazing and very tough decision for me to vote for one of them. Interesting topics, amazing speeches. And then the speech evaluators, each and every one of them gave an excellent evaluation. And I hope that the update that you suggested for their speeches to be a little more elevated, they would be using those tools and bringing their speeches and performance a few notches up. And with that, I conclude my general evaluation and hand over the stage to the Toastmaster of the day, Thank you so much, KTC, for inviting me to do the role of General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. General Evaluator, Toastmaster Wani Abbasi, for brilliant conduct of this evaluation session. And now without further ado, because we are already ahead of time, let's move to the voting of Big Four. The Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Numan Abid, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Farouk. Then we had General Evaluator, Toastmaster Wani Abbasi, and Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Jaya Jaggi. So while you are voting, poll is in front of you. All right, so everything comes to an end. Every great thing comes to an end, but not the Toastmasters meeting, because we meet you'll meet every Wednesday. But it was a great experience being with all of you, visiting Karachi Toastmasters Club virtually. I wish to visit in person someday too, because you're all fantastic and fabulous and amazing speakers. I love the professionalism, the quality of speeches, and 7 speeches. Oh my God, 7 speeches. We have 3 speeches, and I know, being an XCOM member, that it takes a lot of energy to bring 3 speakers and then making sure that they come on the meeting day and having 3 evaluators for them. And I can see that 7 speakers, they showed up 2 in the meeting. I was expecting that probably 4 and 5 will be there and 2 or 1 might skip, but 7 were there and 7 evaluators. I was completely inspired and impressed, and that shows that how much passionate the members of KTC are. So no doubt that's why KTC is one of the best in the world. So it takes a lot of effort by the XCOM, but the members put their efforts too. Now I will not take any further time, and I'll hand over the stage to the person who wore several hats in today's session. He was constantly messaging me for the change of order. He was the one being the timer. He was the one doing a speech and evaluating a speech and being a VP education, completely inspired. So over to you, the presiding officer as well for today's meeting, DTM Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster, today. And as you can see, my face is mercifully hidden in darkness. And that's a win-win for everyone, because I'm actually traveling. I'm riding in a car. And this shrouded figure that you can see here is none other than DTM Atif Irfan. So we are going to have a little gathering. First of all, let me thank all the 4 champions. I could not be more honored and more grateful to all of you, because I sent just WhatsApp, not even calls, just WhatsApp messages to all of you, and you agreed within half an hour. That is amazing. That's an amazing level of commitment. And I have absolutely no qualms about saying that you all elevated our meeting today. Yes, we always have 7 or more speakers. Usually we have 8. And yes, our speakers are passionate. They show up. And some juggling is required, as you saw, due to the scheduling limitations that we have due to Karachi commute time and everything. But let me tell you one thing. Today is a record-breaking meeting in the sense that it is merely 5 minutes late in terms of agenda. Usually it's far later. So all of you, the presence of all of you galvanized our members to show up on time and keep everything on time. So thank you for that. Without further ado, I will invite our vote counter of the day, Toastmaster Satyar, to let us know the results of the polling.
Yeah, sure. The fellow Toastmaster and guests, finally the time has arrived. The best prepared speaker by a very small margin goes to DTM Talha bin Hamid. The best table topic speaker, again, it was a very tough race, back and forth. But the winner, the person who just came and won from ITC, Toastmaster Abrar Wani. The best prepared speech evaluator. Oh my God, by a very long way, Toastmaster Shamam Khan. The best role player, Toastmaster Shamam Khan again. Toastmaster Imam Khan won again. Please attend more meetings. And now the biggest role, biggest of the big four, all the champions who were like this. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. But at the end of the day, the winner voted by the audience goes to the Toastmaster of the day, the champion, Toastmaster Naman Abid. Okay, that's about it. Over to you, DTM Tala.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sad, and congratulations, Toastmaster Noman Abid, for reliving, for getting all the three other international speech contestants to relive the day that they saw you at the victory stand. But again, it was very close. Since I'm one of the meeting hosts, I was seeing the polling, and it was a very close contest as always. So I have one award to announce, and that is the Critics' Choice Best Speaker Award. The Critics' Choice Award is assessed according to the International Speech Contest ballot, and it is done by a secret judge, and that secret judge has communicated the results to me. If you trust me enough, I will announce the results. The third place goes to DTM Samir. The second place goes to Toastmaster Saad Shoaib, and the first place goes to myself. So congratulations to all the winners. And with that, I will request someone who just dropped in this meeting, DTM Atif Irfan, if you can share your thoughts about whatever you saw.
So I'm trying to show my horrible face, if you can see me. I don't know if I'm visible or not, but I really regret that I missed such a great meeting, and now I am seeing it's ending. And wow, I mean, wow, what I have missed, I really feel sorry for that. But I was engaged somewhere else and couldn't make my way to this meeting. But I really, really want to congratulate all of you for such a great meeting and gathering so many great stars of Toastmaster fraternity in Pakistan. So it was a great, great effort, great meeting, and I wish you all the best. KTC has always done wonders. I am sure that they will keep on doing wonders, and this was one of them. Thank you very much for inviting me. DTM Talha, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, DTM Atif Irfan, for gracing our meeting. Your presence always means a lot. And now I'll invite one of our guests, Toastmaster Imran Law. Toastmaster Imran, would you like to share your comments about the meeting?
Right. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the club for giving me the privilege to listen and to sit through today's meeting. And one thing, the first thing I noted in today's meeting is you had a lot of speakers, 7 in total. I think it's a first for me. The highest I've been previously was about 5 or 4. I can't recall. So it's a user experience, and surprisingly, all the speakers were really amazing. I find that the speakers they research the materials properly, they present it professionally. So I love it very much. And a big takeaway I found in your meeting that I don't have in mind back in Kuala Lumpur is that you have a voting for the big 4 and facilitators. That is actually very interesting. It's a very nice way to show appreciation to all the role players that I think my club never really, we never really have a special occasion for them to really congratulate them. So I'm going to take that back in my club. I think that will really help my club quite a bit. And the last bit that I just realized about like halfway through the meeting, that in your agenda, you have the link to all your social media at the bottom. I didn't thought that was possible in the PDF. So I might give that a try and see how we can implement that in the PDF too. So yeah, all in all, it's a very interesting experience. A lot of key takeaways I experienced in today's meeting. So I really enjoyed it. I'll pass it over back.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster everyone. And we are beyond honored that you found some things useful to take away from our meeting. And trust me, you will have a lot of fun because we used to have a core 4 awards in a Toastmasters meeting, and we increased them to 6. And we are still increasing them slowly and steadily. So our effort is that no one walks out without an award. Someday we will reach there. But okay. Thank you so much for your kind comments. I will invite another guest of ours who is Toastmaster, or he is no longer in the, yeah, of course, why not? Toastmaster Brarwani, please share your thoughts about this.
Well, thank you very much, Talha bin Hamid. The big guns are there. DTM Atif Irfan, DTM Talha bin Hamid, Noman Abid, Jaya Jackie. All my favorites are there. I literally enjoyed each and every aspect of the meeting. Though it was getting quite long, I was thinking that how I'll be able to sit, because every time I see now, well, there'll be at the end of the speaking arena, there'll be another speaking arena, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Well, all the speeches are very good, and well, Jaya Jaggi were also very right that I did not use my hand, but suddenly my camera fell off and I put my camera in my hand, and while putting the camera in your hand, you cannot move your hand while speaking. Well, I will say hats off to DTM Talha bin Hamid, the way you people are conducting this meeting, carrying on a huge thing. I literally appreciate every one of you for doing a great job for the Toastmasters. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Toastmaster Brarwani. And today's meeting must have been quite memorable for you as well, because you're also walking away with an award. And in fact, out of our 5 awards, 3 awards are going to people who are or were associated with Islamabad Toastmasters Club. And that's the beauty of Toastmasters. So it's so amazing to have everyone together. And with that, I don't think we have any more guests. So I would just ask all the 4 champions to display their public speaking capabilities and summarize their feelings at this point within 30 seconds. And after that, we will adjourn the meeting. Starting with Toastmaster Noman.
All right, thank you very much. So as I already mentioned that I was not ready for this, by the way. I already mentioned that it was an honor for me to be here. And I loved seeing all the amazing speakers and the passion and your eloquence. And inshallah, I will be looking forward to be here again. And I'll take this inspiration back home to our home club, because for some reason, we love table topics more and not the prepared speeches. But I think a prepared speech is where you learn a lot, because there is a lot of preparation involved. And there is a lot of learning within the table topics. So definitely we'll be taking this inspiration from you, and we'll be looking forward to collaborate again in the future. Over to you, DTM Tala.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Noman. And yes, we are certainly looking forward to more collaboration, because it has been amazing with you guys. Toastmaster Jaya Jaggi, what do you think?
First of all, thank you so much, DTM Talha bin Hamid and the entire team of KTC for inviting us. It was indeed a pleasure and honor to be here. You could see me smiling and I'm fresh, but trust me, I was so tired and I didn't want to attend the meeting. I genuinely wanted to drop a text to DTM Talha that I am so tired that I cannot sit and listen. But once I landed in the meeting, I actually sit this way and I thoroughly enjoyed it and listened to each and every speaker. And I would say that this says it all, that I was sleepy and you all made me active. This was actually the power of the speakers, all the responses, the energy you all put in. And this is actually the power of Toastmasters. And I'm so happy to see different Toastmasters from different clubs spreading positivity around and helping each other to grow. I would love all of you to help each other and support each other in their journey of personal and professional growth. Thank you everyone again, and best wishes for everyone. Over to you, DTM Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jaya. Toastmaster Vania, what about you? Even though you were disqualified, I'm sure you're not feeling too bitter about it.
Toastmaster Vania isn't available.
Okay, never mind. It may be she is feeling bitter after all. Okay, what about our Toastmaster Farooq?
Again, not available.
Okay, fair enough. So with that, finally, the time that you've all been waiting for has come against all odds. The meeting is about to end, but as a parting shot, anyone who wants a role in the next meeting, you have the first dibs, and you can book that role, speaking role or facilitation role by messaging me. And secondly, thank you once again, everyone, for sticking around for an amazing meeting. Thank you once again to our champions, and wish you all the best. And everybody, goodbye. See you very soon.
Excuse me, DTM Talha. I had to ask that don't we have a humorous competition next week? Because it's 16th.
Next week? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Humorous contest is next week. So, you know, after a 3-hour meeting, you tend to lose track of time. So, yeah, it is next week. Thank you for pointing that out, Toastmaster.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're participating, right? And everybody who wishes to participate, whether as a role player or as a speaker, they should contact event chair Toastmaster Ali Ashwaran. Thank you so much, everyone. And once again, see you. And thank you so much.